Going, everybody? It's been a minute since I have gone live. What up, everybody? What up? What up? So I'm going to be walking and discussing a theory, and it seems like there's either purposeful misinformation regarding XRP and RLUSD. And there was this video put out by DanaLovePHD about how the biggest threat to XRP is RLUSD. Now, there's some information that I came across that goes against his narrative, and it makes me think of some things, and I think long term I haven't been wrong about XRP. But if Dana Love was right in what he's implying, or actually directly stating, then every retail owner of XRP just got played. And I think that this is a case of plans within plans. Now, you're probably wondering, well, Exceed, what the heck does that even mean? I'm glad you asked that question. Now, there's a video that was about between 1 to 2 months ago by Dana Love, and he was talking about this idea that Ripple has abandoned XRP. Now, from what I heard, RLUSD runs on XRP. And there was this initial network launch where Ripple launched RLUSD on the Ethereum network. I have a theory that makes this make more sense. So one thing that I would like to highlight is that our XRP's settlement speed is extremely fast compared to Ethereum. So what if, and I'm going to say what if, is it plausible that the reason why Ripple initially launched RLUSD on Ethereum is to clearly demonstrate the difference in the capacity of the Ethereum network versus the XRP ledger? I ask you that again. Is it plausible that Ripple went to Ethereum because the actual plan is to show how the network of Ethereum fails in comparison to the XRP ledger? Because the thing is that all these big institutions, they all seem to have a one-track mind, in my opinion. So if something's a big price, it must therefore be superior. So what happens is, and they go onto Ethereum, they're transacting, I bet you that as RLUSD is moving through Ethereum, that the network is clunky, that it might not be making mistakes, but remember, Ethereum uses gas fees, and it's extremely expensive. And compared to the XRP ledger, the fees are simply way too high with Ethereum. From what I heard, it takes a huge chunk of money in Ethereum and gas fees alone in order to move a smaller amount of money. So it begs the question, what is Ripple's plan? Are they really abandoning XRP? My guess is no. I think what Dana did not mention, because I had to stop the video at some point, because it sounded like he didn't really think deeply enough on this issue. I think that this is a chess game. I think it's 4D chess. Because if you just simply argue back and forth, you're not going to get anywhere. But if you demonstrate that the technology that you have is superior to your opponent, well, what do you think the institutions are going to do? And that actually brings up the idea of maybe the institutions already know this. And that's why you see the ETFs, you see those things taking off. You see that they're gobbling up XRP. And because Dana's point is, well, nobody has to hold XRP. You're quite correct. You don't have to. But you got to start thinking down the line of why somebody would hold it. which also leads me to my next point. All the use cases we heard of in terms of paying music artists their royalties. I think I made a video a long while back about how you can use it for gaming, and you could do it for anything. I mean, imagine just the workforce. If the workforce were to use the XRP ledger for payroll, you know, how many tens of thousands of XRP would be used up simply through payroll? So I think that the reason why, because remember, if I'm wrong, then Evernorth has no reason to exist. Why would Evernorth have to exist just to hold all of this? I heard that Evernorth was supposed to hold like 10 billion XRP already. I forget, but I forget where I heard that. But again, why have a holding company at all? It's because when all the use cases begin, it's going to start using up XRP like lickety split. And eventually, there's going to be a point in time where the institutions aren't going to have just open XRP just sitting on the market. And what is that going to lead to? It's the ever elusive supply shock. But people are like wondering where the supply shock is. And my theory of today's video is to connect all these concepts together. So forgive me, I'm walking. Air quality sucks out here right now, but just stick with me. What up, Ilshay2257? What up? I'm going to subscribe. I appreciate that. I don't make content as much as I used to because XRP is such a widely covered topic. I'm not sure how good of a job I can do because I don't have the technology to give you the graphics you're looking for. I mainly just make audios and just let people process the ideas of what I'm saying. So anybody that gives me a shot from an audio perspective, I appreciate you. Thank you. So going back to this idea, I think that DanaLove is missing so many things. So people ask all the time, where is the supply shock? Well, people have missed out on the fact that there are two different kinds of clarity, because I see comments on this video that says that, oh, well, XRP's had clarity now for over a year and we still haven't had a supply shock yet. I was like, well, first of all, there are two different kinds of clarity. There's the clarity that retail needs, and then there's the clarity that institutions need. Do you know what the difference between the two is? That when it comes down to institutional clarity or absolute, they want to know without even the slightest shred of doubt that they can buy and hold XRP with absolutely zero worries. Now, does that sound ridiculous to retail? Of course. You know, but I think that this idea about RLUSD replacing XRP is ridiculous because the full use cases for XRP have not been fully built yet. A lot of these things are concepts. And as the world keeps going through these changes, you have this stuff with Iran I heard how oil is going to be transacted on the XRP ledger cross border. You know, all these use cases are going to start ramping up quickly. And remember, each use case pulls a little more on XRP, and we haven't even talked about the fees yet. So what up, ABP 2.0? You know, again, I'm not looking at my phone much because there's a gigantic glare, but I thank you for being with me. So my point being is that there's all these use cases for XRP because anything that requires the movement of money is going to be useful. Anything. That means there's a lot of reasons, you know, to have XRP. You know, so when Dana's like, "Oh, there's no need to hold it," yeah, right now there's no reason to hold it. I completely agree with you, which leads me to my next point. A lot of these situations, I believe, are designed to make retail sell. Why do I say that? Because as people are essentially, as retail continues holding, there's going to be a point in time where there's no more XRP on the market. And remember when Bitcoin was out back in, I think it was 2011. I remember I was a senior in high school, and I saw that Bitcoin was becoming a little bit more popular every time Bitcoin got more and more popular. But it didn't get super popular or get promoted on CNN or any of these other gossip rags until the price was already well out of retail's reach. When something is highly affordable, you see the same game every single time. So what the legacy media and finance is doing is playing the same game, because they can stay rich longer than we can stay solvent. Where we're holding on for dear life, hodling. We're hodling to make sure that we don't have to sell. I mentioned a while back that these XRP channels, they're putting out sometimes 2 videos about XRP every day, like broken records. It's why I space out my content. Like I don't speak unless I have something to say. So I find it very odd. That all these things about how XRP is being defeated or replaced, why is the DTCC going to Stellar? My theory, to unite all this and to kind of bring this to closure, is to say they're going to other networks to attempt to demonstrate, which technology is best for what situation. And the ones that are going to win are the things that are fastest, the ones that are most secure. And I even speak as someone who doesn't even hold Stellar. I used to, but I had to get out of it at some point. So anyway, those are kind of my ideas about what Dana Love was missing in his video about a month ago. So I appreciate everybody who was joining me on this live. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. I'm Exceed, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this live. Just thinking about what you do before you do it. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor. Well, I am a financial advisor. I'm just not your financial advisor. So all jokes aside, thank you to the 2 people that click like, and I'll talk to you guys soon.